This is going to be your late winter, early spring 2024 real estate market update. So if you're thinking about moving to Oregon in 2024, this video will be perfect for you. I'm going to quickly recap what we saw in 2023, which will also give us some indicators as to what we should expect for 2024. All that and more, stick around. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Living in Oregon. I am your host, Seth Marchant. So 2023, what happened? Well, let's first talk about sales prices. Average sales price, specifically for the Portland metropolitan area for 2023, year over year, finished just down over 1%, like 1.6% less than it was the year before. Now, that's sale prices. Average home sale price is not to be confused with average home values. Now, those two things correlate, but they're not the same things. Well, how is that possible? Well, in the previous year, you simply could have had homes that were higher priced, which would make your average higher, of course. As far as average home values over 2023, saw about 1% to 2% growth, depending on where you're talking about, how you break it down. If we're talking about cities, counties, zip codes, whatever. Nationally, we saw maybe 2 to 5%. So we didn't get that crash that some people might have been anticipating, hoping for. Don't expect to see any kind of crash coming. You know, spoiler alert, I know there's some people that are still waiting for that. It always makes me think of that meme of that person. Well, it's a skeleton sitting in a chair, just waiting forever. Usually that meme gets applied to like relationships, you know, that person that has been single forever, just waiting for that right person, and it feels like they're probably going to wait until they turn into a skeleton. Well, that applies to real estate too. There's a lot of people that have been waiting for that market crash, and nothing yet to indicate that that's going to come. So what do we expect for 2024? Well, the thing that's really dominated the narrative in the past couple of years, of course, has been low inventory. And the thing that's kind of really dominated the narrative in the past year or so now is going to be interest rates. Interest rates are really having a greater impact on the market, more so than anything else right now. And so what we saw happen in 2023 was that interest rates were actually starting to tick back down. Market activity was picking back up, and the Fed actually announced that they're going to be cutting rates in 2024 multiple times. Now, the Fed does not dictate mortgage rates, but mortgage lenders do take their cues from the Fed. So when they hear these signals, we expect that there's going to be some sort of commensurate response with rates at some point in the near future. Now, there are some people that say that if rates go down enough, maybe back down to like 3%, that the market will be flooded with inventory and it will very quickly become a buyer's market, and all those skeletons that have been waiting forever, they're going to pounce. That'll be their perfect moment. I'm not one of those people. I do believe, and if you watched my last video, I said this as well, if rates do go down in 2024, I do believe that the market will become more competitive than it was in 2023. But as it stands right now, that is not the case. One thing that surprised us a little bit so far this year is rates have ticked back up. We were in the mid sixes, like somewhere in the neighborhood of 6.5. We saw that go back up 40 basis points, or 0.4%. So we're pretty close to 7 right now. And the reason why that's important is because over the past couple of years, when we saw rates down at 3%, there was a lot of people that predicted that if rates got into the 6s or 7s, that we would see the market crash. Well, that didn't happen, but we did see that transactions significantly declined, especially once we got past 6%. So if we continue where we're at right now in 2024, we're probably going to see a lot more of the same in 2023. Don't think that's going to happen though. I do think rates are going to go back down. They might get down into the 5s, but look for them to get down into the 6s for the market to get really competitive. What do I mean when I say competitive? Well, we're not talking about like 12 or 20 different offers like people were getting a couple of years ago in 2021. We're just seeing competition with 2, 3, 4 other buyers. So still some home buyers out there submitting offers that are not winning those offers due to competition, you know, which is never a fun thing. So there's still some competition out there right now as it stands, but I'll expect a lot more competition coming in the summer. Now, with that being said, aside from rates, some of the other indicators right now are really indicating towards a buyer's market. Inventory has been about as high as it's been in recent years, although currently there's about 3.2 months of inventory. It's not the highest we've had. The highest was actually in November of last year, just a few months ago. There's 3.5 months of inventory. So inventory has been building up, but it's not a lot of new listings. It's inventory that's been sitting. So for people that are shopping on Zillow and looking for new things to come to the market, might not feel like there's that much inventory out there. Another indicator that's leaning towards the buyer's market is days on market right now are about as high as we've seen. And for you buyers out there, when you're thinking about submitting an offer, that's usually one of the #1 indicators that we have that you might have a lot of leverage over the seller. Now, transactions right now, month over month, and of course coming off of the holidays, transactions and new listings are up. They're always up this time of year, but year over year, they're really not up too much. So a lot of little indicators that this is a buyer's market, but the biggest thing that we're gonna look for is what are rates going to do, and I'm gonna expect things to get really competitive if we get back down to the 6s. When would we maybe possibly see that? We might have expected that like mid-summer. At this point where we stand, might not quite make it midsummer, might be looking maybe more towards fall time. If you have questions about these things, again, my name is Seth Marchant, licensed broker in the state of Oregon. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new to this channel, living in Oregon, and you want to see more about what it's like to live here, not just videos about the real estate market. We've got over 100, maybe 200 videos at this point, more so showing you neighborhoods, driving footage, drone footage, things like that, things that really give you a feel for living in Oregon, especially living in the Portland metropolitan area. So if you want to see more videos like that, make sure and hit the subscribe button. And if you have questions, I invite you to call, text, email. You can hit that QR code. If you're watching from TV, you can also find all of our contact information in our description below. And if you'd like to weigh in, I invite you to reply to this video. What do you think the real estate market's going to do in 2024? What have you been seeing or reading online? I know there's a lot of clickbait articles out there. Feel free to let us know in the comments. And if this video helped you, give me a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. Hit that like button. And we'll have another real estate video like this in about 3 months from now. We're gonna know a lot more then, but right now at this point, a lot of what we're seeing and a lot of what's going to transpire over the next 3 months is really gonna bake in the rest of 2024. So we're gonna know a lot more by our next video. So make sure and subscribe so you can see that as well. And in the meantime, you can get a bunch of other great videos. Until next time, take care, everyone.